Krista DuChene has been a marathon runner for over 10 years. In 2013, she broke the Canadian marathon record, becoming the second fastest marathon runner in the country. But shortly after her win, Krista broke her femur in a freak accident while running the Canadian Half Marathon Championships in Montreal. But even with a broken leg, she was focused on making it to the Pan Am Games in Toronto. We decided to follow that journey to the Games.
I'm in for my x-ray any minute now, and hopefully it's clear.
The first time we met Krista and her coach Rick was weeks after the accident at the Brantford General Hospital, where she was going to get another x-ray and finally find out if she would be able to start running again. We caught up with her after her appointment to get the news.
So, how did it go?
It went really well.
Yeah, what did he say?
The bone looks good, nice and strong, and it's healed. Given the green light to start running, but definitely it will be a slow and steady process.
Okay, so has he told you what you can do now? Like, what are you safe to do?
Basically, I think we'll just start with just some easy shuffling, like not even more than a minute at a time,
okay, and
then just see how I feel. We definitely don't want any setbacks, but you know, everything was good. It's just being very careful with easing back into it.
Is that hard for you to hear that you can't just get back and run right away?
No, because I've had 3 babies, so I know what it's like to come back from, you know, kind of starting over again. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it, is just slow and steady, and we're in no rush.
And Pan Am is still in the view. You're still looking forward to that.
That's right, yep.
Krista didn't wait long to start that shuffling prescribed by the doctor.
We'll see how I feel.
Taking us directly to the Wayne Gretzky Sports Center in Brantford, where for the first time in months, she would take her first light jog on the track.
How does it feel?
I don't feel any bone pain.
Yeah, I'm thinking more.
No, I mean, you can feel it, but it's not terrible.
And did you ever think, God, why would this happen to me?
No, you know, things happen to people all the time, no matter what their faith is, what they believe. And I think especially having my parents die with cancer, you know, that's something I probably struggled with earlier in my life. But I just thought, okay, this is my situation. And much like collapsing in the heat in Russia and then coming back and having a great race in Toronto, breaking the record with Lanny, I kind of see it like that. I mean, wow, this is going to be a great comeback should everything fall in place nicely.
So Krista, tell me how you got into running, first of all. Was it always an aspiration? Was it always a dream? Did you always want to be a runner?
Well, I was very active as a kid. I've told many people that my mom used to shut me out of the house and make me do laps before she let me back in because I was so full of energy. So I've done a lot of sports from a young age just because that was in my nature and I loved it. So I ran track in high school and played hockey. And then when I went to University of Guelph, I picked hockey and just ran on the side to stay in shape. So I didn't actually do my first marathon until I had graduated from university.
Wow. And so what did you, when you first took ran your first marathon, did you think this is what I want to do?
At the time, I was just doing it for fun because I remember one day I was out doing an 18K run and kind of guessed how much I thought it would be. And I thought, well, a marathon's 42. I guess I could try it. And so trained on my own and quite enjoyed it. And then the time's just coming off because after you do your first, you're going to do your second and your third. And so I kept getting better and more serious at it. And that's kind of where I got to today.
4 months later, we caught up with Krista at her first race since breaking her leg just earlier that year.
2, 1, go.
How do you feel?
I feel really strong, really happy, blessed that I'm out there running again, and it's like nothing happened.
Was there some hesitance in coming back?
You know, that's a good question, and I gotta say, I just felt complete peace about it. It just felt normal. It felt like I was racing all the way through this.
So what's next? What's next for Krista?
Well, the plan is to likely do 2 more races in December, still low-key, not expecting best times or anything like that, but it's to keep getting the mileage. I'm pretty much at 100K plus weeks now, so that'll just continue to go up. And then official marathon training will start in January 2015, and then hopefully I'll be doing a spring marathon to go after the standard right when the qualifying period opens up.
After following Krista DuChene for nearly a year, we got to catch up with her today in Brantford, Ontario, as she ran the endurance leg on the Pan Am Torch Relay.
It was a bit heavier than I thought, so I had to switch arms a few times, but it was really fun. I've never experienced anything like that before.
Last time we saw you, you ran your first race, and you were really excited. What has it been like since you've been training and just getting stronger and stronger since then?
It's been a steady process, and it worked out so wonderfully. I just feel so blessed that I was healed, and the goal was to run race pace for each race, and I built up to getting the Olympic standard when I ran the Rotterdam Marathon in April, just less than a year after I broke my leg, so pretty exciting.
And even with the Pan Am Games now just over a month away, when we caught up, the question still had to be asked. Were the Games still on the agenda? So we would always ask you after each visit, is Pan Am still in view? And you would say yes, but things have changed. Tell us about that update.
Yeah, looking at the year and what happened after I ran Rotterdam, the goal was just to see how I felt, because there's so much involved in running and training for a marathon. And I physically was fine. I did pull a muscle in my hip, but emotionally I was just really exhausted, I think, just looking at what happened over the course of a year. So I would have had to just jump right into full-time marathon training, and my coach and I, had to decide whether we would do it or not. Unfortunately, that in the World Championships we had to forfeit. So disappointing, but when you're a marathoner and you can only do 2 a year, you have to put your head ahead of your heart. It's all about my faith. And actually, the more I reach these higher goals, the less it seems about me, which is really interesting. I've got the passion and I love it, but it seems like it's getting to be more and more out of my control, which is really cool. I know there's a lot of opportunities for me to continue with broadcasting and things to do after I retire from competitive running. I'm not ready for that yet, but it's all about God. Whenever I go to speak to a group, I'm here to glorify Him and to give Him the glory for, healing and making the Olympic standard a year after I break my leg with, I'm 38 years old and I've got 3 kids, but it's all about Him, so I just go with it.
In Brantford, Ontario, Magdalene John, 100 Huntley Street.